Right, now the thing is, Peter, that we've got a new widget. I'm going to put the new widget on screen.
Okay.
So that people can actually come in, and I'm going to start it now.
Okay. Well done.
Okay. There we have it. So this is new from Be.Live. It's a countdown clock, and you can use it at the start of your broadcast to go live.
Yeah.
And it gives people a chance to arrive and watch you, and it doesn't have any music or anything. It's just a countdown, and hopefully when that disappears, which it will in a second, I'll make that disappear too, and then you and I appear on screen.
Yo.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
I've not heard from John at all, but welcome everyone to Blabbing for Open, episode 247. Wow, only 3 off 250. Going well. Right, okay, so we're just going live out to Facebook at the moment. One or two technical problems. I didn't know my Google password. How do you remember all your passwords, Peter?
I don't.
You don't?
I have to change them every day.
You and me both. It can be a pain, can't it?
It's the bane of my life. It would drive mild-mannered people insane.
Yeah, the passwords are. I mean, I use a password manager, and yeah. Then you've only got to remember one password, and I've got that password stored away somewhere.
And I forgot it. My main password.
Yeah, I know. And that they say, right, okay, if you forgot your main password, you can't have access at all. You're going to trash everything, and you're going to have to start again.
I'll tell you what annoys me about passwords. I watch a site, right? Jim Davidson, the comedian, and he's got a site up and running now. And it's quite a good subject to talk about, actually, not about him. But every so often, I think they do it, they make you put your password in again rather than taking you in automatic. And it drives me crazy. Just drives me crazy. And so what have you got on the agenda today, my friend?
I've got lots on the agenda today.
Right.
Let's first of all go right to the top of the agenda and welcome everybody to the show. And this is Blabbing for Britain, episode 247. How time flies. And we say good morning to Chris. And Chris is saying hello, everyone. Okay.
Is that a grey looking Belgium there?
Your photo's gone, Chris. Right, okay. Right now, there's talk of new restrictions for England like next week, but you got new restrictions in Scotland starting soon.
Yes, ours are in now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's having a pretty devastating effect. There's one pub chain called The Signature, right?
Yeah.
Spent £250,000 in trying to get it right. So for those of you who are not from, well, the UK, but Scotland, what's happening there is the bars are being shut down in the Glasgow type areas, or certain areas down there. But in my city, which has already had a lockdown, they're actually not serving beer in the bar. Inside.
Inside, right, okay.
So you're allowed a meal inside, and you're allowed a non-alcoholic drink. If you want to drink, you have to drink outside. Now, the thing is, some of the bars I know, they don't have an outside.
That's it. Yeah, you can't drink on the street, can you?
With permission now, they've got a lot of areas put off, but it's illegal in Scotland to walk about with alcohol out with there. It's an offence.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And not only that, the bars have to shut at 6 o'clock. Unless you're a hotel and you're still serving meals, you still get takeaways. Now, the problem is in Scotland, and this is what you've heard in the North-South divide.
Yes.
We also have a North-South divide.
Okay.
It's a them and us. And them is the Glasgow, Edinburgh area, which is South Scotland.
Yes.
And North Scotland, Dundee, Aberdeen, Inverness areas above. We tend to be seen as a different part, and it's causing friction because people are saying in Aberdeen, hey, wait a minute, you closed us right down. Why are we getting closed down again? It's no problem up here now. Yeah, you're putting us out. You never done it when we closed down. You never shut Glasgow. And there's a lot of resentment there. And Nicola Sturgeon, who you might think is doing well, right? She's not doing as well as you think. She's upsetting a few or even her own people just now with some of the policies that they're trying to put through on different things.
Yeah, I mean, the situation in England is that Parliament has no say in it. It's just the government who are actually running things because they can under the COVID-19 Act. Is Nicola Sturgeon in a similar position? Is she able to just, with her cabinet, decide what's going to happen, or does Parliament talk about it?
Not really. She decides because remember the Scottish Parliament is SNP owned.
Right. Okay.
There's only. I've got to give credit to. He's up from this area. We've got a new leader of the Scottish and Conservative Party in Scotland, Ross, and he was on TV this week, and they had a go at him right away. What about Boris Johnson? He says, I'm not talking about the UK government. I'm representing the Scottish people who voted Conservative. I'm not on it. He says, I don't know if you know this, but he said, I resigned from the government because of Dominic Cumming. Were you aware of that?
No.
So this guy, the only Tory in Scotland, basically, is now the leader of the Scottish Conservative Party. But give him his credit. He didn't. He was in an MP.
Yeah.
And he resigned because of Dominic Cumming. He didn't agree with what happened, and I think he's gathered a lot of favour for it.
Yeah. So he's got principles.
He's got principles. His wife's a police sergeant. He's a farmer's boy who used to get up at 2 a.m. and milk your cows, and he's also a football referee.
Right, good man then. Good man. Anybody who's interested in soccer, football.
He says, I'm here. This is what people don't get. He says, I'm here to represent Scottish conservatism.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of us.
Right. Shout out for Mr. John Upton, please. Where are you?
John Upton, where are you?
Indeed. It's very rare for John not to actually say he can't make it. I hope everything's okay.
If he's not made it, no, it's something serious.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody stole these strawberries from the cabbage patch.
Right, okay. Did you actually catch any of the debate last night?
Absolutely not. I probably had the best sleep I've had for a long time. But
Good.
I watched some of it this morning.
Yeah, I watched some of it this morning. It seemed to be a respectful conversation.
It was a lot more dignified.
Exactly so.
And in the sense to put a barrier between them.
Yeah.
Barrier between them.
Yeah.
And but I am. I don't know if these presidential debates and things are a good thing, to be honest with you.
In what way?
It just brings out things, point scoring on the day.
Oh, yeah.
Where it matters, folks, is on signature day, and where it matters is if they do what they say they were going to do, unless there are circumstances that stops them. And you remember that next time.
Yeah, a debate is not going to change anything. It's just it is a PR exercise, and there's no. Well, yeah, I think we're all a bit jaded by politics, aren't we? Wherever we are, whether we're in the US, the UK, we've been jaded by politics in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not to take sides, but I was watching a thing. I flick through Facebook. I spend most of my time on Facebook.
Mhm.
Facebook, in case you're listening, and I flick through and there's video after video, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I think it's a college professor, university professor, and she was calling Donald Trump everything, and a pupil said, "Excuse me, I don't think what you're saying is right."
Yeah.
And she was basically standing there in front of the pupils because the girl had mentioned Trump. She give her what for, and as far as I'm concerned, no teacher, whether you're left, right, or centre, or the loony party in it, you should not be giving your politics in front of your class.
Yeah.
You're paid to teach them, and that's all you're there for.
Yeah, it's not about indoctrination, is it? It's about giving a level-headed view of presenting both sides of the case, and letting the pupils decide.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Peter.
And
Right.
I'll tell you what, I did have a quick laugh. I've been what Ronald Reagan keeps popping up. And you know, it was exactly the same things all those days. Ronald Reagan, I suggest you go back and look at Ronald Reagan's speeches when in Berkeley and places like that. It was quite amazing. He was arguing about the same things then. Oh, I'm getting an echo now. Right, that's me. So go and look at Ronnie Reagan's speeches when he was fighting them then, the youngsters who thought they knew better than the president. It was quite funny. He was arguing about the same. I've got an echo now.
Sorry, that's me running around in the background trying to share the show.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just. Oh, it's not working. I want to turn the sound off. Can you still hear an echo, Peter? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's okay now.
It's okay now. Okay, I just want to.
It's funny how during the show an echo gets to you.
Oh yeah. I just want to click two buttons, and it's not letting. It's going to let me. It's got to let me. Right. Okay. I'm good now. I just wanted to share.
Do you know what I hate? When I leave the computer on and it burns up my free crisp time.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Well, talking of crisp, we've still got the roofers here and the scaffolding all around the building. I just watched one of the roofers walk past on the walkway, and
wow.
you can't hear a thing because of crisp.
Well, here's the thing. How many people could be done with that right now and don't know about it?
Yeah, that's true. Crisp.ai just works wonders. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to film the scaffolding afterwards and then say thank you, Crisp.
Well, what you do is film it and send it to me, and I'll say it, and just to help people, you know.
Oh yeah.
Because my ex-wife years ago would be shouting at me and everything, but now I can turn my deafy on her. Sheila was saying, "Peter, why did you leave that lying there?" And I'm saying, "Someone's saying something."
Right. Okay.
Hi, Kevin.
Morning, Kevin. Yes, it's just the two of us today. Stephen Silk is taking a break, and John's not with us. I don't know where he is. So if you'd like to join us, Kevin, you're more than welcome. In fact, that link is for everybody. If you want to join Peter and I on screen, live on air, then please do. And just to confirm, I'm Stephen. Gentleman next to me is Peter. And we've been doing this for 247 weeks.
Stephen, I'm now on to video sync 6 I'll be doing shortly for LinkedIn.
Oh, brilliant.
And at the end of it, I say, I know people are watching it. Mm-hmm. I say, I hope you're watching. Please make a comment. And even better, give me a link to your video.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Well, we're still a situation where the uptake in the UK on live video is pretty low.
Unbelievable.
Right. Okay. Would you like to be a student at university at the moment?
No.
Neither would I.
No.
I think they're being hard done by because one, they're paying full fees for what is virtually online tuition.
Yeah.
Two, they were told it was safe to go back to university accommodation. It isn't. And three, they've been, well, there are some of them not being allowed out. Manchester, they've got police on the gates.
We're the same. I think we've got 60 to 80 confirmed cases of COVID in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I heard a rather sad story the other day. I've got to watch how I say it. Guy I know went down to a place. Didn't tell anybody else. Didn't tell him. And now they've all got COVID. Disgrace.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I feel for students at the moment because they're not getting the education. They're paying over the odds. They're in accommodation that they've paid for and can't get out of.
That's fair. I know some of them are leaving and going back with their parents, which is fine. But let's look at the other way. Students have got to realise that they're part of the package too of not spreading it.
Oh yeah, truly.
And so if it's a very, I mean, they've actually, some of them have came, say with COVID, just needs one, goes to a campus, and then they all get it. Because they went back to the campus. Because if one's got it, there's no way. Look at, you seen the plight of that guys in Italy? Have you seen it?
No, tell us, Peter.
Do you know, right? There's four men, young guys, and they go to Italy for a bit of fun and things like that, and whatever they do over in Italy. And each one of them is locked up inside a hotel room, and they've tested. They've never been out.
Okay. Yeah.
They've all tested for COVID every time they get re-COVID treated. 2 months have been there. Been on GMTV Live and everything. Good Morning Britain, that's what I call it. And they've been alive, and it's seemingly because you've got traces within your body that's still there. And as far as they're concerned, if you've got that there, you're positive. They can't get out. They've no food. They're having to get food sent in, and it's just look it up. It's ridiculous, you know. Get them back to their country in some way.
Indeed. I'd take a look after. And Claire is saying, good morning, Claire. Morning all. Hope your scaffolding is secure. It's a bit blowy out there. Yeah, it's definitely totally secure. And they're working at the moment. They're rebuilding the chimney. All right, and will students get a refund? This is the big question, isn't it?
No.
Will students get any money back? Yeah, and
if universities go bust.
Yeah, but it's I mean, aid has been given to lots of businesses. I'm not sure how much universities have got, but our whole way of life is changing. Yeah. I mean, working from home is now a thing. Yeah, companies are saying, the Prime Minister said, work from home. Companies are saying work from home. A lot of major companies said work from home. Don't even go near the office until next year, and they will review it then. Basically, because we live in the computer age with good internet connection, if your job is office bound, you can work from home, can't you?
And listen, many years ago, I said we will have a watch one day, and we'll be able to speak into it. And it's came. Listen, I've got a friend. She's a manager at a co-working space business, right? And she goes, people are suddenly realising, saying, wait a minute, why am I paying for all this bricks and mortar? How much time am I in a city? Wait a minute, If I am, I'll hire some space.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a computer, it's got internet, it's got a coffee station. I'll do that for an hour a week or something when I'm in a city. If I've got a rush, go in, buy some time, and that's it. We're going to have lots of bricks and mortar, but what they'll be turned into is social housing probably.
What did you've got the cities? You take London, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh.
Yeah.
The city centres at the moment are just ghost towns. Let's catch up with the comments.
Yeah.
And Claire's observed, as Chris did earlier, there's no pics in on-screen comments. We can agree with that. We'll report that at the end of the broadcast.
Yeah.
And over to Chris. There's something wrong with the photos. I see Claire's photo also in the comments, but not on screen. Yeah. Okay, so we're agreed on that. And if you're on screen there and I'm on screen here, who's Be.Live in 5?
Who's Be.Live in 5? Come on.
Come on, we've got two choices. It's either John or Fonz.
What about, I've forgotten his name. The young kid.
Young Linus. Right, okay. Reveal yourself. Say who you are, because we don't have a photo to guide us at the moment.
Yeah.
There's lots of changes taking place, as we know at the moment on Facebook, and some things just don't plain work. And if Facebook make a change, they're not actually. This is the problem, Peter. Is they're not actually telling the software developers. So people like Be.Live and StreamYard, Zoom, and Restream are not being told.
That's why, if you're a certain type of politician, you should always have a back channel.
Yeah,
we always have a back channel.
Indeed. And a clue was given. Top hat, and Chris got the clue and saying it's Fonz. So hello, Fonz. If you want to join us on screen, Fonz, you're more than welcome to do so. There is a link already posted. And the same offer goes to everyone who's watching live now. We have 2 seats.
Can I just mention the Fonz? I don't know if one day I was in my city centre.
Yeah.
And it was dismal. So Fonz, what I done was I went into the local graveyard. And it was fun. And I was walking around the graves and I found out there was a wizard of Aberdeen there. And he used to be in a circus in Aberdeen. He was quite well known. And there were some famous people in that graveyard. And people were actually enjoying me going about the graveyard, looking at, it's quite amazing.
Well, they're tranquil places, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's yeah. I wouldn't got to say honest, I wouldn't go through a graveyard at night though. No matter what your beliefs are.
No, I'll tell you, there has been known people to be dead, but they're not dead. Because my wife used to work in a funeralist, and in Germany, they used to lie them down there, and they had a bell above them, and it was attached to their finger.
Right, okay.
And if they moved their finger, it rang the bell. But if anybody was saying to me from a grave, help, I'm afraid my shoes would be melting running.
Right, if we can't have John, we'll have a photograph of John.
Okay.
And we'll take a moment just to tell you about a new network. We've talked about Facebook, and we love Facebook, but there are problems with Facebook, and it's an opportunity for us to actually start a new network. That new network is totally independent of Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you care to name. I started it last Friday. It's called Building Our Community Online. I invite everybody who's watching to actually join the community. Chris is there, Peter's there, and Fonz is there. So this is an open invitation to actually join a new community. It's just getting going, and who knows what can happen.
And is it going to be web-based? Going to be cameras and things on it?
Sorry, please, can you say that again? I was just distracted by John.
Is there going to be cameras and things on it? Can you go live, or is it just web-based?
You can go live on YouTube and embed the video into the network and actually go live in the network. That's the way you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go live on YouTube and embed it.
Yeah. That's it. You basically schedule a video, get the embed code, go to building our community. Hello, John. Go to building our community, put the code in there, and then when you go live, you go live.
Right. So if you're live, can you still embed a code while you're live?
You can, yeah.
Okay. So that's a bit of a get out if anything happens.
Yeah, it is. Okay, just a minute. Technical problems here. Well, not technical problems. I'm just trying to get Mr. Upton into the broadcast.
Was he?
Hi, sorry I'm late, guys, but we went downstairs this morning to find part of the kitchen ceiling had come down and water pouring out from the bathroom.
Oh dear.
I've managed to locate the issue. It's a joint that to the pipe that goes to the toilet. Unfortunately, normally you just turn the valve off and then fix whatever it is. Unfortunately, it's the valve that's actually leaking.
Oh, no.
So I'm currently draining the cold water system to allow me to take the valve off and then go and buy a new one. But it's done quite a bit of damage, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, I see your insurance is for.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure whether I'll bother.
Okay.
It's right in the corner, literally right in the corner, and it'd probably be quicker to fix it myself and probably not even cost as much as the excess on the insurance.
There you go. There you go. Well, we've been missing you.
Yeah, you've been mentioned several times. Well, that's not a good way to start the day, though.
No,
it's not. And we have loads of stuff that was in the corner that's got absolutely soaked, including a bag of hay for rabbits.
All right.
Don't ask me why it was there. We don't even have a rabbit, but it was in a eco-friendly paper bag. It's not in an eco-friendly paper bag anymore.
Not so good.
So anything value? I know it's all valuable, but anything of great value in there?
No. The only other things that were there were bottles of pop and a couple of bottles of beer. It's flooded and it's gone under one of the cabinets, but fortunately it's the cabinet with the washing machine in, so I've been able to pull that out and mop that out. I'm just hoping it doesn't make the cabinet swell,
Yeah.
like they do. If it does, Celia will have even more of an excuse for wanting the kitchen redone.
Anyway, welcome, John.
Unfortunately, Celia's not been very well the last few days. She had a telephone consultation with the heart consultant on Thursday. He changed one of her drugs. They were delivered on Saturday, and on a couple of occasions since, she's had a racing heart. And it's making her a bit depressed as well, I think, to be honest. Anyway, what's the good news from the rest of the world? I haven't even looked at the BBC or anything else today.
No, we've been trying to find good news, and it's hard to find at the moment. There are three topics. There's COVID-19, Brexit, the US presidential elections. Those are sort of 90% of the news at the moment, wherever you look, whether you look on the BBC, the Guardian. But in Scotland, we have a good news story, Peter, don't we?
I'll show you something. Let me see. I'll just set it up again.
You actually saw somebody walking down that street with nobody on it?
No.
A minute. No, this is for you all left-leaning tree huggers.
Right, just waiting for the share, Peter.
There we go.
Okay, I've got the share. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to bring that up on screen. And it should be with us in a second. And I'm going to put it full screen, and you can tell us about it.
Okay, so Police Scotland, because we used to have Grampian Police, which was Aberdeen based. We used to have Tayside, the Borders Police, City of Glasgow Police, but they're all Police Scotland now. right? And the people up here weren't happy about it, especially the policemen. And so anyway, so Police Scotland have put in a £25 million bid to be the first emergency services with a green fleet. Now, the problem with it is that I've seen in London they tried this, and the cars that they got with their green fleet, I think they were electric or something, they weren't fast enough. They didn't have the oomph to catch the getaway cars, etc. So be careful what you wish for. It's only 25 million of our money, but we'll see how it pans out. Could you imagine if they get up in the morning and say, "Hey, boss, nobody's plugged these things in right, and we've no cars. What are you going to do then?" So, that's the only bit of news that would probably cheer some people up. So that's a view for Aberdeen. No, just speaking about emergencies, I'll tell you something. So Police Scotland became a one all-encompassing force, and so did the fire service. Up in Aberdeen, we had white fire engines. Why? Because it was costing £10,000 to make them red. And as soon as Fire Service Scotland took over, they spent that £10,000 again on each fire engine to make them red again. There you go. And that's the view from Aberdeen. Okay.
Well, first of all, if you've got the right electric car, it's faster than many petrol cars.
Okay.
But not the one the Hyundai showed in the picture. Funny enough, the gentleman who bought the house across the road from me about 18, 19 months ago, they moved to Scotland, the people that left. They were Scottish. Has 3 electric cars.
Okay.
Has 2 different Tesla models. And he has a Hyundai electric car. And he has a point on the front of his house so he can plug them in. In the West Midlands, we also have electric police cars, but they are only for the bottom end type work where they're visiting people, etc. And they have a fleet of Nissan Leafs.
Yeah, going around fining old grannies 80 quid.
No, they're not used for that sort of work at all, I don't think. Our average police car these days around here is a Vauxhall, either an Astra or a Cavalier. We've
got a place in Aberdeen called Peter Cooter. It's known as Cooter. And the shame, the policeman there was given a scooter, a motorbike scooter, and he was called, was it the Cooter Scooter?
Yeah, we do have quite a number of policemen on push bikes.
Well,
push bikes, such an old-fashioned term, but then
Yeah, I haven't seen any in Aberdeen yet, but they did. The other policemen, they're not. John, you must have put someone on, Stephen Echo. We had the wardens, the PCSOs. A couple of them had electric bikes, but guess what? I said, "Where's your bikes, mate?" He says they took them off us because they were too expensive to maintain.
Yeah, we do. I do apologise. We've got an occasional echo. I've been trying to track it down, but it's proving elusive because we've all got our normal setups. So that's 2 things that we've got a problem with today. One is the fact that we can't show anybody's picture on screen.
Yeah.
And the second is that we've got intermittent echoes from nowhere because it was echoing when the newspaper was on screen. So I had to switch John's mic off and my mic off, and that seemed to work. And then it didn't seem to work, and tried everything.
Yeah.
It's all part of live broadcasting.
Not to worry.
Indeed. On with the show. Right. As I say, I'm struggling to find something that is not COVID, Brexit, all. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's go here. All right. In the Parliament, we have select committees whose job it is to actually investigate what's going on in Parliament and outside Parliament what the government are up to. And they say that they've now got proof that, they claim they've got clear evidence of collusion of Huawei, and we know who they are. They're actually been funded by the Communist Party in China. They've given them 3 billion over 3 years.
Yeah. But so have Land Rover had similar sorts of money from our government. So, where'd you go from there?
So you say it's not extraordinary?
No, I don't think so. But the government have pumped huge amounts of money into Land Rover Group. Just keep it going.
Okay.
And that's Indian owned. It's part of the Tata Group.
Yeah.
Let's take care of that story then. We've covered. All right. Okay. Now you can't beat a good Monty Don story. And Monty Don is saying that we should get off our phones and go outside. Nobody's going to take that up. I agree with him. We do spend too much time on social media and on our phones. I'm guilty of it. Hands up.
Yeah.
So getting outside, either up the allotment, in the garden, or going for a walk, or going for a cycle, is something we should be doing more of. But that's a wish rather than a reality at the moment, because it's not the best weather to go out and about.
Well, having said that, Monty, I've seen people on their bikes, on their mobile phone and things like that. But they shouldn't be doing it the way they're doing it. You ever seen them doing their bike on their mobile phone?
Oh, yeah.
All the time. It's a common occurrence around here.
Yeah.
That's why you should invest in the Terrano XT.
Yeah.
Like I've got.
Have you tried telling some young kids that?
No, it gets me. People in my club will say, how are you getting on? This is fine. This is if you got one for the front leader and the rear deputy leader, you would be able to communicate with one another instead of going, slow down. Wait a minute. Hello? Yeah, stop. Simple as that. That's what you need to do. Stop. We've got a flat tire. Where is he? He's lying in the ditch dead. What happened?
Oh, dear.
Communications, folks.
You could get a pair of cheap walkie-talkie things, with headphone and mic, and that would be a lot cheaper than two of your fancy things and two.
Well, I did suggest it. Guess what? My partner has been up to Inverness because her mum's a bit ill. She's looking after her. And guess what she went up with from Aldi? Walkie-talkies. Bought a walkie-talkie, so her and her son, because he's downstairs, well, she's downstairs, he's upstairs, so they can have it by the bed so she can talk to them if she needs help, And I'll be interested to see how they get on with it. Because they are just not they've recently got internet, and it was quite funny, They just didn't understand it at all.
Well, my dad, he bought a pair of walkie-talkies so that he could be in his shed, and Mum, who struggled with her knees, didn't have to make her way outside to talk him. They never got out the box.
I think people laugh at me because I used to. I lay in the bath for ages. When I have a bath, I have it ages. And I don't even have to use my phone now. Do you know what I do? I just click onto Facebook and message Sheila. She goes, what do you want? It's a cup of tea, please. And she'll come up with a cup of tea into my bath. So communications are very handy, What else have you used it for, John? When has it come in handy to you?
To what?
Communications.
Somewhere I've got 2 tin cans and a piece of string, but you have to keep the string taut. They were actually a nice presentation box, and they were given me as a gift.
Yeah.
Well, every day's about communication, isn't it? You know, if you don't communicate with anybody, you don't get anything done.
That's right. But what did they do before that?
Before
Do you know
what?
a funny thing I seen on the internet was teenagers and they were given an old phone.
Yeah, asked to dial with it, and they had no idea how to use a dial. And you think to yourself, what a bunch of numpties. You know, the numbers are there. Do you put your finger in and press hard?
But do you remember, the 3WYZ, the number, the letters? I never knew how to use that, you know. What did you have to do with that?
Well, still on my phone today, except it's push digit.
All right, okay, but why is that number's there in that wrong phone?
Well, I don't know. I never used them.
No, never. Yeah, I'll tell you what happened to my mum once. Her friend, an Esther, many years ago, she phoned up and says, it's a BT engineer here. It was our boyfriend. He says, I wonder if you can help us. Could you whistle down the line? And my mum's sitting there. He says, thank you very much for your help. We'll get a packet of Trill sent to you tomorrow.
A packet of what?
Trill.
I thought that made budgies bounce, Trill.
A packet of Trill. Oh, dear. So,
I'm back.
What's on the agenda?
What's on the agenda? Let's have a look. First of all, go back to Claire, and Claire is saying, definitely agree with the exercise and getting away from mobile phone. It's something that people have done more of during lockdown. I know we have. Try to go out for a walk at least once a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking, has any of you got a GoPro?
No.
I've got a cheap version, not a genuine GoPro.
I'm thinking of getting one of these on here. You can get a thing. It's like a security one. And
my lad does a bottom. I noticed Claire's. Chris has said that she's seen a gimbal mounted on a bike. My son does a lot of biking. He's got a really fancy, extremely expensive mountain bike, and he wears his GoPro on his chest.
I found when I put some of the chest, I'm going to get a security one, like they wear, and it's a continuous and put it here. About 169 quid.
For the GoPro and the connection, or just the
No, it's a security camera. It's different.
Oh, it's not a GoPro. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just a security one, because a lot of, when you put up videos about places where you're at, people have noticed that, say, right, I'm here at this bridge. I like phones would look in like and say, this is the bridge of Balgownie in Aberdeen, this is our meeting point, and show them things about the area. The old cobbled bridge and everything. I think people like that.
Oh, they do. They do. There is certainly.
My GoPro lookalike was 38 quid, and I can barely tell the difference from a genuine GoPro, because genuine GoPro.
Genuine GoPro is 400 quid at the moment.
Oh, a lot of money.
It is. It's on special offer. You can get it for $2.99, I think.
Right. Yeah. Where's that at?
Even so. Right. Okay. Let's try go back to the agenda. Okay. Okay. We've not spoken about Brexit for a while.
Cut me for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay. Right. It's over to me and you, John. We've not talked about Brexit for a while. What do you think's going on? Anything?
Who knows? I read an interesting article that says all the negotiating goes on for years, and then the heads of state get together, and then the two of them thrash out the real final thing. So maybe that's what will happen.
Yeah. On New Year's Eve, 31st December, over in that Europe. Just coming back to that, we've got a local organisation which is called Devisers for the EU, and of course the problem is that anything with EU in it after the 1st of January is going to be contentious. Yeah, because we're not part of the EU. So the group is actually changing its name. Have you any idea what it could change its name to? It's called Devisers for the EU at the moment.
International devices.
Right. Okay. No, it's changing its name to Devisers for Europe, which is not as contentious because it doesn't mention
the letters EU. That's the issue, is it? As in European Union.
Yeah.
Whereas Europe is a continent of which we are part of. So
indeed, geographically, we always will be. Yeah. Yeah. So that's practical changes being made already. Looking forward or not looking forward to everything that's going to go wrong from. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't bear thinking.
I keep yawning. I don't know why, but I'm feeling very tired. I think it was having to get up so early when someone had gone down. Well, Phil had gone down for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Woke me up saying, "Dad, there's water all over the floor."
Okay. Waiting for Peter.
Hello.
Hello. Peter's back.
Right.
Okay. We're good. Let's go to the comments again and over to Claire. Oh, there was an iPhone in it.
The gimbal, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah. And Claire is saying they've not got a lot of time. End of this month was meant to be the deadline. Well, the deadline's been extended by a month.
What for?
Negotiations between Great Britain, well, the UK and the EU. Negotiations are ongoing.
Why bother? Why?
You missed that bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, do you have any idea what's going on, Peter?
Yes, they're all playing a game of peacock. Putting their feathers out. Look, yeah, and somebody's going to give in. Somebody will give in.
Who's your money on? Who's your money on?
I think Britain will give in, especially with the fisheries.
Yeah.
And it will be detrimental to them because the fishermen will remember it and people will remember it. Otherwise, they are going to walk away from it. I do like the guy that's negotiating. He seems to be a bit tougher than Theresa the Pisa. He's a bit tougher. And I would have my briefcase and I'd look at it and say, every time I met them, I'd go, do you know what this is? It's a World Trade Agreement. We'll be walking. Think about it. I'll put away for this now. I'd be a good negotiator.
Yeah, I fear that may happen. I mean, this 2020 has been
terrible.
Annus somebody say that Annus Horribilis, as the Queen said. But this time for everybody.
I'll just put out a shout as I've had before. Bob Geldof, get your mates together. Britain will need you shortly. Go abroad and get money in for us. Get our Red Cross parcels.
There's one problem with that. He's an Irish citizen.
What do you think to do?
Yeah. Okay. Still on the hunt for something.
Band-Aid for Britain.
What?
Band-Aid for Britain.
We might just need it next year.
Yeah.
Announcement from 2 major cinema chains that they're actually mothballing their cinemas, and warning from a film director that film going could become extinct. Now, this is it's not just COVID related. This relates to Amazon Prime and Netflix.
Absolutely.
And the non-release of up-and-coming films.
Yeah.
The Bond film not being released, being put back yet again, is part of the decision-making from the Cineworld directors.
Cinema, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Well, films are going direct to Netflix and Amazon Prime. They're not even going to the cinemas. I mean, we're lucky. We've got a local cinema which is privately owned. Hopefully they can actually continue trading. But if you've not got new films coming out, it's a very difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, we had a local cinema in the high street, and when they built the new fancy Touchwood Court, they put a Cineworld in it, and not very long afterwards, the high street one went out of business.
Well, do you know what happened in Peterhead last week?
Nope.
It's a very cold. It's called the Blue Tune because you're blue with the cold. The Blue Tune. They want the cinema. A brand new cinema, a little one. No, a community cinema. So good for them. But will it last? I mean, the writing's been on the wall for too long with cinemas now. They should have been one step ahead. These View Cinemas and all these people, they should have got together and got their own films made and put them out. And no, it's great going.
When did you last go to the cinema, Pete?
Well, I think I went. I'll tell you why I went. If there's a good spy film or a war film or something like that I like, I actually go on my own.
So when? How long ago?
Last year, I think.
Yeah, I'm last year too.
Yeah. How long since you last went to the cinema?
2019, early 2019.
Yeah.
More than 30 years for me.
Oh, right, okay. Bit of a contrast then, John.
Do cinemas, you know.
Cinemas are a night out, or it's an escape, and you can see things as the film director intended you to see them, not on a small box, but on the big screen. Yeah, especially an action movie.
I like the Prime account. I use it to get me stuff delivered quickly. I think I've been on it twice in the last 4 months.
I have yet to go to a cinema, but all the little, 9, 10 cinemas or whatever it is, I've yet to see one packed before COVID. Yeah. And I just thought, wow, what a waste. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to the Grandy, we called it, and we went there, and we got 2 films, same day for your money. We saw one film, and then we watched another. And we used to go on and watch Flash, Aha, Savior of the Universe. And the kids would be stomping. Do you remember that? Are you too young?
How about Saturday morning cinema?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And throwing sweets at their kids.
Yeah, it's a chance for your mum and dad to get rid of you for a couple of hours.
Flash. Remember Ongo Chongo? Do you remember that? Na 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 na. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4 bananas make a much and so do many more.
Brilliant, Peter. Classic. You don't get that on Okay. Okay. Over to Chris. She saw the first Harry Potter film at cinema, and that was the last time. Well, that's a year or 2 ago. First Harry Potter was out.
I've never understood that Harry Potter. Why do people read that?
Well, it's like it's fantasy, it's escapism, it's storytelling, it's going to somebody else's fantasy world. I mean, I'm trying to think of a few fantasy writers. What about Discworld?
No.
Anybody into Discworld?
No.
Terry Pratchett?
No.
Nope. Me neither. But yeah, people want to escape from this world. I can understand why people want to escape from this world for a couple of hours. There's no better way than actually reading a book or watching a film. Which is better? Read the book first and see the film, or see the film and read the book?
I've actually started to read books, and if I find it's a film, I go and get the film.
Yeah, I'm the same. John's scratching his head and thinking, what are these people doing
Yeah.
films.
I've no time to wait.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Okay.
one of the one I remember, I was reading about a spy, true story. The spy that saved the world, stopped a nuclear war.
Yeah.
It was a true story. And as soon as I found it was on film, I ditched the book and I bought it. Well, I think it was on Netflix. Very good film. Very, very good film.
Right. And our last story of today is a health story. Food manufacturers promised in 2015 that they would reduce sugar content by 20%. And the results are in. They reduced it by 5% on a voluntary basis. Should the government get involved?
They said they would do it 20 and they've only done 5.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on you. That's something I've got to watch every day, my sugar content. And there's nothing worse than seeing the sugar levels and some of the stuff that folk are eating. Find an alternative, folks.
Over to Claire. And Claire's saying, saw the Orient Express film last year. Claire goes to cinema once or twice a year. And Claire again. Read the book and then see the film. Yep, read the book a while after the film has come out. Yep. Okay.
I did the Orient Express with Celia in 1993.
Oh.
Overland to Venice, long weekend in Venice, and then fly back. It was a prize for being European Salesman for the Year when I worked for General Automation, which later became Sanderson's.
Wow.
Wow.
Not the best prize I won in those days. I was also, so that was European Salesman of the Quarter. I was European Salesman of the Year. And we went, the whole family, although Alice wasn't born then, says it was a while back. And we went to, flew to Los Angeles and then drove up to San Francisco and then came back over 2 weeks, and it was all fully funded.
That's amazing.
As part of the deal, I had to go to General Automation's offices in at Los Angeles and visit the factory. The factory's in Anaheim, which is where Disneyland is.
All right.
And then we drove up and I had to visit an organization that the company dealt with in San Francisco. It was quite good because they took me, they had a relationship with Apple, and they took me to see number one, whatever loop it is that Apple are living. And back in them days, Apple was not the world's largest or the world's second largest capitalized business.
I didn't have you down as a hard-bitten salesman.
I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Peter, can you repeat that?
I'm saying I didn't think you was a hard-bitten salesman, John.
Sorry?
I didn't see you as a hard-bitten salesman.
I've never been a hard-bitten salesman, and the reason I did well was because I was the value-added reseller manager for them, and I think I'm pretty good at building relationships with people.
Yes,
And
you
that's
are.
how I got sales, because I would do anything I could to help them get business.
Yeah.
In fact, we there was a company called Fletcher Computer Services, not very far from where I live. In fact, it's the first place I ever got a job, and they fired me after 9 months for poor timekeeping. Anyway, this is a long time after, because that was 1974.
You never wave to them and say hi.
And they looked. They had a product which they sold to the RAF, and they'd been selling it to years. But a opportunity came up for 48 RAF stations. There aren't even 48 RAF stations anymore. There were 96 at the time.
Yeah.
To replace their fleet management systems. And they had a beautiful long showroom that you could divide into sections with different doors in. And what we did was at the time, my brother was a flight lieutenant running the local ATC. It's called Air Cadets now, but at the time it was ATC. Not more than about 500 yards from Fletcher's offices. And what we did was we got a couple of the older, more mature kids to come along in their uniforms, and we had pretend places. We hung from the ceiling signs that said Bowser unit, NT unit, and one that said runway. And the guys from the RAF came and they looked at all the different types of computers and they saw the software, but they were fairly familiar because they'd already got about 40 installations then. And they came down and we'd got this sign there, and these kids, some of them were on the computer. They weren't really doing anything, but they were sat on the computer, and two of them were showing the people around. And one of them was a flight sergeant, only a young lad.
Yeah.
He went on to work for my brother actually after he left school, and he's there with his uniform on, his flight sergeant in there, and the warrant officer, who basically is in charge, despite the fact that they have a flight lieutenant and a squadron leader sitting above them, the warrant officer does all the real work. Mm-hmm. He wandered down and he walked across the runway, and this clever little lad, who's not so little anymore, shouted to him, Sir, come back, you're on the runway. And you know what? They thought it was brilliant, and we got the order. And it was a significant order because my share of the order was £975,000, and my target for that year was 1.2 million. And we got a single deal for £975,000. And I heard that year I earned the highest amount of money I've ever earned. And basically, I got 50% commission on order and 50% commission staged as things were delivered. Wow. And I told my dad how good it was, and I showed my dad how much I'd earned on my payslip, and in the pub. And my dad said to me, "I don't earn that a year, son." And I felt terrible. I really felt terrible.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well,
but those were good old days, and it was great fun to do those kind of things. We did a similar thing with the Navy, and all I can say is it sunk. We didn't have any kids in uniform or anything for that.
Well, you've made up for your lost time, John.
Yeah. We're going over.
They were supposed to go with this lad, come out the door, walk along the corridor, and go back in the other door, rather than walk across the runway. But it was just hilarious to see this young lad of 16 tell this warrant officer with 30 plus years of service in the RAF that he couldn't walk across the runway.
All right.
My story.
John,
it's over to you.
I didn't realise we'd gone over.
All right. That's because you got me.
Thank you everybody for keeping you longer, but I hope you found the story amusing. So it's goodbye from my friend who is over there, but he might be over there, and he might even be up there from Wiltshire. And goodbye from my friend who should be up there, but is, I think, down there from Scotland. And we'll be here same time next week, and hopefully next week I'll be on time and I won't have a flooded kitchen.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.